A man was seen working on his computer when the electricity went out. He called out to Isaac to go check it out, but received no response. He went to turn on the generator himself but was killed on the spot. An airplane arrived in the middle of an unknown place in Africa. James, Mia, Logan, Emily, William, Sarah, and Bobby disembarked from the airplane. From their conversation, it was clear that they were in Africa for a guided tour. Due to the long journey, James threw up, and Sarah went to his aid. They all moved to the pickup point. Sarah wanted to make a call to the tour guide, but there was no reception on her phone. Others also checked but found no network. They waited for many hours before the tour guide bus arrived. Adam Shaw, their tour guide, disembarked from the bus and apologized for arriving late, explaining that the bus had developed a fault in the morning. They journeyed to the lodge, chatting along the way. Suddenly, the bus stopped working, and the driver checked the bus. He called Adam Shaw out of the bus and told him the radiator of the bus was no longer working, and he didn't have the tools needed on hand. He would have to call his uncle to bring the necessary tools. Adam Shaw returned to the bus and informed them of the situation. He gave them two options. They could either wait in the bus until help arrived or walk 8 miles down to the lodge. The tourists decided to go hiking to the lodge. They gathered their belongings and began the journey, leaving the driver alone with the bus. On their way, Mia and her older sister resolved their issues and agreed to make the best of the tour. James heard a sound, but Sarah told him it might be his imagination. Adam Shaw explained the navigation of the forest to them and instructed them to stay right behind him. While going, they saw a waterfall in the distance. Bobby wanted to walk ahead to see the waterfall, but Adam stopped him and showed him a trap right in front of him that could have been deadly. They reached the waterfall, and after some persuasion, Adam allowed them 10 minutes to fetch water and relax. Emily decided to go into the bush to pee, but due to the rustling sounds in the forest, she grabbed a stone and returned to where the others had gathered. They continued their journey. Mia forgot to fill her bottle, so she turned back while her sister and her boyfriend waited for her. The others continued ahead of them. Suddenly, Mia shouted for help. She was being held by a blood-covered black man with a knife in his hand. He was saying something, but no one could understand it. Adam told them to keep going while he stayed behind to deal with the man. Adam later rejoined them and said he had chased the man into the bush. They continued their journey and got closer to the lodge. They stopped by a horse ranch, but to their surprise, there were no horses in the ranch. Adam told them to continue the journey, and they eventually reached the lodge. At the lodge's reception, which also served as the dining room, the place appeared scattered, as if people had left in a hurry. There was no one to attend to them, but they found an envelope with "Read Me" inscribed on it. They read the letter, and the management apologized for not being able to attend to them because they had to attend a burial of one of their staff. They promised to return and welcome them properly. The keys to their rooms were inside the envelope. James and Emily were to stay in cabin 6, Bobby and Logan in cabin 7, William and Sarah in cabin 8, and Mia in cabin 9. In their cabin, William assured Sarah that Mia would be okay and would learn to reconnect again. They made love afterward. Emily glanced at the mirror and decided to take a shower before joining the others for the barbecue. While in the shower, blood gushed out of her body and splashed on the wall as she fell to her knees. Meanwhile, Bobby, Logan, William, and Sarah were at the bar taking shots. Bobby inquired about Mia and was told she was still inside bathing. Later, at the barbecue, everyone was seen chatting with their partners. Logan came to sit between James and Emily. James excused himself to get a drink, and Logan asked him to bring a beer for him. Logan showed off his muscles to Emily and stood up to go to the restroom. James intentionally bumped into him, which irritated Logan. James was in the bush, still annoyed by the earlier incident with Logan when he was grabbed by a masked man who slit his stomach, causing him to die instantly. Logan returned to where the others were with blood on his shirt and a nosebleed. He was given ice to stop the bleeding. Sarah grew concerned that her sister hadn't come out yet and went to check on her. She knocked on Mia's room, but there was no answer. She forced her way in and got her hand stained with blood. Sarah screamed, and everyone rushed to her location. They discovered Mia's lifeless body with her eyes removed from her head. William took Sarah away from the gruesome scene, and Emily became worried about James. She asked if anyone had seen James, and her gaze fell on Logan, who happened to be the last person to see him. Emily inquired about the blood on Logan's nose and his clothing. He explained the situation, and they decided that Bobby should go look for Adam to use his phone to call the police, while Logan and Emily went in search of James. Bobby entered a room with numerous corpses and found a survivor who called for help. Meanwhile, Logan and Emily shouted James' name but received no response. In the bush, they discovered Adam's body parts scattered on the ground. They searched around for a satellite phone but found it beyond repair. Logan suggested they return, but Emily insisted on finding James before leaving. Bobby shouted for help as he carried the survivor to where Emily and Logan were. They took her into the lodge and treated her wounds. She regained consciousness and introduced herself as Evelyn. She informed them that they needed to leave immediately as it was dangerous. She explained how a man with weapons had forced everyone into a room and shot them. Her husband had shielded her, which was why she was still alive. Bobby brought out a map, and he, Logan, and William made a plan. Bobby and Logan were to go to the nearest cabin 2 miles away while William stayed with the girls. Suddenly, a sniper fired a shot, and it hit Bobby in the head. They hurriedly made their way through the staircase, but another bullet struck Sarah. The masked man followed them upstairs, and they managed to escape from the room through the fence. The masked man pursued them. As they were about to flee, Evelyn got stabbed and died. It became evident that there were 2 masked men in the forest. They ran through the bush and stopped at a point to tend to Logan's injured hand. They continued their run until they spotted the cabin on Bobby's map in the distance. They reached the cabin. Meanwhile, William searched for a satellite phone but came across a laptop instead. He examined it and discovered that their cabin had been under surveillance with a CCTV camera. He went through the laptop and found that the system belonged to Adam, their tour guide, who was also a Marine officer. William dug deeper and learned that Adam had been dishonorably dismissed from the Marines due to war crimes. As he delved into the laptop, he was struck on the head and lost consciousness. When he woke up, he saw Logan tied to a table, with Adam beside him holding a combat knife. Adam informed them that the Marines trained them for many things, and the most crucial part was how to kill. William told him that the Marines had never trained him to kill innocent people. Logan begged for his life, but Adam told him to have some dignity on the death table. Adam then cruelly cut open Logan's chest and plucked out his 2 eyes before Logan died. He revealed that Logan's father's girlfriend was a Marine and had been involved in their incarceration and humiliation. This was their way of saying thank you. Emily suddenly appeared from behind and stabbed Adam in the stomach. She untied William, and they both fled the house. They were confronted by the other masked man in front of them, but Emily and William turned and took down Adam together. They made a run for it, but the masked man managed to shoot William in the leg, preventing him from running any further. William told him to come for him, and the masked man charged towards William and Emily. However, he accidentally stepped on a trap, which killed him instantly. Emily checked his pocket for a satellite phone and used it to make a call. A helicopter arrived to pick them both up. Don't forget to subscribe as this encourages us to make more videos daily.